fruit. I paint pictures with my words, tangled thoughts and feelings. GrowingGamers.com, Rory Favreau. Tangled thoughts and feelings.
Hey there guys, and welcome to the Growing Gamers podcast, coming to you from Geelong, Victoria, Australia. My name's Rory Favreau, and I do hope that this day finds you well, that everyone's keeping well, that you're sticking away from each other where you possibly can. So, doing another car cast, so far so good. Most people understand why I'm doing it. Workmates, I always say workmates, my housemates work from home. So they're busy doing their thing, and, you know, who knows, we may fucking get fucking wild in the streets. Today, I thought I'd go really special. Got lemonade, and ice. Don't know how long it lasts because it's quite warm outside today. It's actually beautiful outside. It's a sort of day where you go, fuck isolation, but I still won't go anywhere. I'm literally just sitting where my car's parked at home. So have a little sip. Cheers to you guys who are doing the right thing. Bloody hell, I love ice. Seriously, I love it. You can find the Growing Gamers podcast on Facebook at the Growing Gamers podcast page. You can find us at growinggamers.com. Also, there's the YouTube. Just look up the Growing Gamers and you'll be able to find these videos and so much more. We being me, because, you know, fucking speaking about myself in the third person again. Tori does reviews. I review video games, pop culture, basically just anything I feel like talking about, and hopefully it hits a niche that, well, not a niche, hopefully it fulfills a need that you've got to talk about a certain topic that you like, and we can cover stuff together. Today we're going to be reviewing a movie. Well, I'm actually going to be doing 3 recordings in a row, provided it doesn't get too hot here in the car. But going to be doing a bit of a 3 spot here. So if you do watch all the videos, you're going to see me in my Fallout shirt. Oh, look at the beard. Fallout shirt. And I've already just given away what we're talking about today. But, yeah, so if you see me 3 times in a row over 3 days, it's not that I wore the same shirt, guys. But maybe I did. But maybe I didn't. It's basically just a simple case of wanting to make sure... I'm going to open this window up. Wanting to make sure that I get stuff to you in a timely fashion and, you know, in the times that I'm able to provide the content. I hope you're enjoying it all. I'm doing my best to do this thing for you. So today we're going to cover an oldie but a goodie. If you saw what I was lifting up and you know what it is, then basically I've already wrecked it for you and you may have already seen it. But we're going to be covering the Japanese horror movie, and it is nothing other than Ju-On, otherwise known as The Grudge. Okay, so this is the one that started it all. Forget even though they remade a Western version with Sarah Michelle Gellar, which was actually not too bad, this bad puppy is the one that sparked it all off, that gave us the bumps in the night, the creepy fucking kid. And basically, yeah, look, I don't know if you can get this on Blu-ray. I've only been able to find it on DVD. I've had this movie I had it when it first came out on DVD. Don't know where it went. Purchased it again recently because I saw it where I work, and I went, fucking ripper. This is going to be one of those ones that I don't know if you'll be able to stream easily. You're probably going to find the Western versions a lot easier to come across and stream and to access. So basically, Ju-On, The Grudge. It's I'm going to read you the back and then we'll go into the actual movie itself. All right, so first things first, it did come out quite some time ago. If I was professional, I'd actually look up the date of release, but I've got no idea. So volunteer home care worker Rika calls on the house of an old lady in what seems a routine job. Investigating a strange noise from an upstairs cupboard, Rika faints when a small ghost-like boy appears. As slowly, a chilling series of events unfold. An evil force in the house left behind by the dead is attaching itself to the living. Vengeance from beyond the grave could be a grudge that no one can stop. And it's bloody amazing. So it's Hiroshi Takahashi brought this to life, and it is super creepy. Now let's just get on straight to talking about it. In terms of the haunted house movie, The Grudge is probably one of the first ones. Now, this has got some years on it. You'll be able to tell. hopefully the remasters for Blu-ray, if you're lucky enough to get it on that, are a lot clearer. There's a little bit of grain throughout. The setting's quite bland, but it's funny, haunted house movies that are done well, the house becomes a character itself. Like, this house is just this little sort of apartment house somewhere in Japan, and it's nondescript, except when you watch it, it's like shit goes on throughout the house. There's bad stuff happening throughout the house. And basically, whilst the back doesn't do it any justice whatsoever, it's the basic premise is that, the dead resent the living, and like you may have seen in like shows like Ghost Adventures, they attach themselves to the living and torment them, and essentially until they die. And then the curse of the house is that anything that is killed by a creature in the house becomes a part of that house and stuck and trapped. So it's pretty intense and pretty full on. The acting is really well done. At the start, it's a bit hamish. There's scenes in the social work office that Rika works in that are a little bit... They're quite... they're what you would expect from an Asian movie, a low-budget Asian movie at the time. Sort of a little bit forced banter. But once it gets into the actual story of The Grudge, it is absolutely fantastic. The story itself is intense. It goes back, and what they've done is they've built enough of a backstory for this thing that you will feel like there is so much more that can be done with it. There's certainly a very, very scary element at play in the house, and that you think to yourself, like, what happens within the movie, there's it is the creepy, and it's a Japanese kind of creepy, which is a welcome change from Western horror. They do have a different aesthetic when it comes to these things, and quite frankly, it is welcomed. It's different. It is truly creepy. There's a lot of emphasis on eyes, on shadow, and it has been replicated successfully recently by shows like on Netflix that you may have seen, like The Haunting of Hill House, which if you have not seen that, it's absolutely wonderful. So please make sure you do check that one out. The Grudge basically just claims its victims. There's creepy stuff. There's sort of EVP. There's things that you see on a screen that when you look up, they're not there in real life. There's a lot of play on reflection and noise and unexpected noise from these supernatural entities. There will be jump scares throughout. The suspense is certainly there. It's very well told, and it brings all these story arcs together really well, from, a detective who worked a case back in the day when people were found dead in the house, all the way through to current day where people are still being affected, and ghosts that you've seen that have been taken recently are actively now trapped within the infrastructure of the house as well. Sound is at a minimum. The soundtrack itself is quite basic and it works, but it's more the way that they get these creatures to make their noises. It appears at certain stages, like you may or may not have seen Japanese horror before, but there's emphasis on frames missing when creatures move to make them look even more unnatural. It appears in some of the sequences this has been done to a small extent, and it works exceedingly well. The subtitles are not intrusive. They will not take away from what you see on the screen. They've done a fantastic job at translating this. It's pretty true to the Japanese dialogue. You don't miss out on too much. And that is purely because, look, I don't speak fluent Japanese, but I speak a little bit. And there's enough that when I hear certain words, I can see the subtitles coming up, and, they're sort of matching up with what I would imagine the Japanese to be. That sounds stupid, but I do speak a very basic form of Japanese. I probably sound like a fucking 3-year-old, but I understood what was going on, and the subtitles are true to that, which is a nice thing. Sometimes you'll get people who do these translation services, and they just have a crack at what they think is right, and it doesn't always work out that way. So this is an absolute classic. I'm going to be watching Ju-on 2 soon, The Grudge 2, and I'll report to you on that one. And basically, this is going to be a very fun series of movies to get into. Genuinely creepy, genuinely scary, and I hope that you guys don't mind subtitles, because there is no English dub of this unless you just get the American one, which interestingly enough, Sarah Michelle Gellar was in the Western one, but they filmed it from memory, this is a long time ago, guys, so forgive me, they filmed it in the same house, and the Japanese cast, because she's in Japan in the movie, but all the Japanese cast were the same people that were in this movie. Really good. I love the fact that they showed props like that. It was just bringing that Western element in, I guess, to make the movie more palatable for those who may not want to watch subtitles in their movies or may not be able to read fast enough. That's no offense, man. Some people just can't follow the written word as fast as the action. So I do think that the westernization of The Grudge was very well done and still well worth a watch. But if you want to go OG, this is the one you need to get, because this is the original and it's freaking badass. So make sure you have a look at the Japanese Ju-on, The Grudge, okay? Because it's just exceedingly well done. It's creepy as all get out, and it is an absolute fucking banger when it comes to horror movies. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate your time. I hope that you're well. Give us a like, a subscribe, tell your mates about it. Let's try to hit that 100 subscribers. That's what I'm working on at the moment on the YouTube channel. And if you're on the Facebook group, look, I just thank you so much for being fantastic and a part of the group. Take care of each other and especially yourselves at this point in time. Well, always, but you know what I mean. All right. Cheers. Later.